What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel for episode 20 of the weekly handheld gaming news. There's not a ton of stuff I want to go over this week. Some of it we've kind of already talked about, but there's a few things in here and an update to my last talk video about those Legion Go 2 pre-orders. And of course, this week's GeForce NOW games that got added to that streaming service. So let's go ahead and get into it and see what we've got for this week in the handheld gaming news. All right, we did cover this in the last video a little bit. Amazon of France accidentally shipping out Xbox Ally devices about 2 weeks early, actually a little bit more than 2 weeks early when this originally happened. So some people were already getting their hands on this ahead of the October 16th launch. Some people even posting up information and pictures and some little videos and stuff before even the embargoes and the reviewers and stuff like that. And of course, way before someone like me who has it pre-ordered getting it on the 16th would have anything up for that. But yeah, it was very interesting. And I said this in the last video, I'm not sure about this, but I think one of the reasons why we didn't have Switch 2 at Amazon here in the USA was for similar issues from the past with Amazon and Nintendo devices or other devices, if I remember that correctly. So this isn't necessarily the first time, and it certainly won't be the last time that Amazon accidentally ships out something new or pre-ordered early. Maybe one of these days I'll be on that list and actually get something early. I think something like that happened with the PlayStation 5, or maybe it was one of the other ones as well somewhere. But yeah, anyways, a couple of weeks early for some people. Mostly it seemed like just some customers in France, though, and about 13 more days at time of making this video, I'll have my Xbox Ally X in hand, and we'll be taking a look at that here and doing a full review and all that. All right, let's go ahead and get moved on here. The other thing is these devices are still available. The white version and the black version of the Ally devices are still available at Best Buy here in the US for pre-order on the release date. Or close. It looks like they've actually changed this one since yesterday. So the Ally X is now back to Friday, November 21st here for Best Buy, but the white one is still for the pickup date, release date of the 16th. So that's something I did want to mention. They do continue to sell out, and now, of course, they're starting to push these dates back a little bit for the Ally X. So who knows, is it that popular, or is it just that low a stock? Prices are high, kind of hard to tell, but if you are here in the States and you are still trying to get your hands on one, you might want to go ahead and jump in. Now, something else to happen this week, and I wouldn't necessarily talk about here, is Game Pass. And Ultimate has gone up to $30 from $20. And for a lot of people, that's not going to be the value that Game Pass often offered. When this generation started, we had like the Series S for like $250, $300, something like that, and $15 a month for Game Pass. And yeah, it was one of the best values in gaming. That console is now like $400 new if you don't get it used, and now we're up to $30 on Game Pass Ultimate, so you have it for PC, console, and all that. You can of course get other tiers of it, but if you want day one releases, or if you play a lot of Xbox games, you're still going to want Ultimate. If you only play a couple of games or Xbox games a year, though, this is getting very hard to justify. Now, the PC version, which I don't think they showed here, and they didn't talk about it in their trailer, but it's also going up a little bit from $11.99 to $16.49. But my understanding here is it will now include cloud and day one games. If that's the case, then the PC Game Pass version would actually be the more valuable one if you're not playing on console as well, and if you don't care about the other perks that they added, which I don't, which is the older Ubisoft classic games and Fortnite Crew. I have no use really for either one of those being added in, so I'm not personally getting additional value. And they also nerfed the rewards program, so now it's like 25,000, 50,000, 100,000 that you cap out at with these plans that you can get per year. So it's a lot of changes, and I'm not a huge fan of what I see here so far. We'll have to see how it works out in the long run. It does sound like there's a lot of cancellations and issues with the cancellation page and all of that. But it's definitely been an interesting week for Microsoft and for Xbox. I know a lot of us use Game Pass on the handhelds, which is why I wanted to bring this up. Now, I use Ultimate because of cloud, because of console and all that. But with these prices, it may be better to go to the PC version if that still does include the day ones and cloud for me, which I believe it now does. But I'll have to double check on that. But yeah, anyways, let me know what you guys think about the Game Pass stuff and the rewards and all of that happening this week with Xbox. Now, embargoes have started to lift on the Legion Go 2, so there's actually a lot of reviews already coming out, videos and articles alike about the device. So if you want to go ahead and start diving in now, you'll be able to do that. Of course, it's going to be October 31st, our release date here at Best Buy for the Legion Go 2. So that's when I'll have mine on launch day, and I'll be able to start working on a review here in comparisons to the original Go, to the Ally X, and the Xbox device, and all of that kind of stuff. So it'll be a lot of fun. But yeah, if you want to go search around, they're already starting to drop within the past 1 or 2 days the reviews for this device coming out. And also, I noted that earlier in the week we had some pre-orders pop up. So on Best Buy, you were able to pre-order this again. It had gone out of sale the first 24 hours, and then it stayed gone for a while. 2 days ago, it popped up for about an hour where you could pre-order it again, and then it went back to coming soon. I'd also shown the device over on the Lenovo website on their store, and a couple of days ago you could pre-order the Z2 Extreme version, but now we're stuck with just the Gen 2 Legion Go 2 Z2 version, which is basically your Z1 Extreme version. So that's already come down. They haven't even pushed out the date or, put back orders or anything like that. Literally within 48 hours, they've just removed the listing from their site. So just like a lot of these product launches, it does get a bit frustrating. Even if we, are complaining about the price and all kinds of other things with these devices right now, they are selling out and becoming kind of hard to get. And all these releases with the Go 2, the MSI Claw, the Ally X and stuff, they've all been a bit stumbly and messy. They were a couple of years ago. They are again now. And I really hope that it gets a little bit better as we move into the future. But yeah, big changes already when it comes to the pre-orders showing up and disappearing when it comes to the Legion Go 2. All right, and finally for this week, we've got our GeForce Now games. So we've got 6 games added this week for streaming, 2 more added to the RTX 5080 ready games, which is great if you're using the Ultimate tier. And then we've got the list of games that we can expect for October. And of course, I'll list out what we actually get every week. So let's jump in and take a look at the games we've got for this week and then that roadmap. All right, for this week, we've got Train Sim World 6, which was a new release over on Steam for September 30th. Alien Rogue Incursion Evolved Edition, which is a new release on Steam for September 30th. Car Dealer Simulator over on Steam. Nightingale over on the Epic Game Store. Ready or Not, the Epic Game Store version. StarCraft X over on Steam. And then we've got those 2 RTX 5080 ready games this week with Enzo on Steam and Total War Warhammer 3 on Steam and the Epic Game Store. So great ones there to take advantage of the 5080. But what about the rest of the games we can expect for October? Let's go ahead and list those out now. We've got King of Meat, Seafarer the Ship Sim, Little Nightmares 3, Battlefield 6, Ball and Pit, Fellowship, Jurassic World Evolution 3, Painkiller, Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2, Tormented Souls 2, Super Fantasy Kingdom, Earth vs. Mars, and Ark Raiders. All the games we expect to see in October. And when it comes to GeForce Now, we usually see more games than what they list out on the roadmap. So we'll keep an eye on that every week as well. That's all the news I have for this week. Interesting, some early shipments for the Ally devices from Xbox. Some pre-orders still available, but those devices are continuing to sell out. Interesting changes, to say the least, when it comes to Game Pass cancellations and all that kind of stuff that's happening. We'll have to see how all that's going to really pan out. And the Legion Go 2 continues to be pretty elusive and hard to get since its launch. So I'm looking forward to getting my hands on my pre-order and jumping into that one. But I do hope stock becomes more readily available as we get into the holidays and all that kind of stuff. And of course, we had our games for GeForce Now this week. All right, guys, I'll leave it there. Thanks a lot for coming to watch. As always, I really appreciate it. And I'll see you in the next one.